All right, so today we're going to focus on showing you the new UI for design, which is a new interface. Essentially, you can switch between the old one and the new one right now in the bottom left. So if you do switch to V1, it will switch to this version. And if you do try V2, it will switch to this version. So give me a second. I need to connect my secondary screen as well. There I go. So I'm gonna go page by page through the interface and show you basically all the features essentially. So first you have the home page. So on the home page, you first have this section, which is the favorite section, and this just shows you your latest favorite images across across a few campaigns, across different campaigns. So it's kind of like your best stuff, right? So it doesn't have any particular uses, so to speak, but it just shows you your best shots that you favorited, and as a way to essentially illustrate like your AI photography work. So by favorite, I mean if we go into a campaign, let me go into this campaign here. If you see right in the top right here, there is a star button. So this is the favorite button. Okay. So when you click on it, it will favorite an image, and then let me see where. Yeah, and then it will be highlighted here with this kind of orange square in your list here. Okay. And
Mhm.
then let's say I favorite a couple of images here, like that. This one I like. So these are some images I use for one of my sites. And let's favorite a couple of these. Okay. So now if I go to the gallery tab here, and if I click on the favorite star, I can see my favorites. Okay. So favorites is usually like if you do work, when you do AI photography, like out of 10 images, probably only two of them you will like and want to keep, it's kind of ratio you have. So these I always recommend you favorite them so you can find them later easily. So it's just a habit to take. So now if I go back to my dashboard,
Uh,
um,
can I ask a
mhm,
question? What
sure.
next to start there is recent and approved. What is approved for? What does it mean? Yeah, one more to the right there is this button approved.
Yeah. So this is a mistake. So I'll remove this essentially.
Oh,
Um, this was to do with the feedback flow. So I'll get to feedback. Like when we essentially we send images to clients. Usually we favorite them. We send them to the clients, and if they are approved, they would show them in this approve. But like for most people, there is not enough data for this to work, so I will remove it essentially. But this was tied with feedback. Okay.
mhm.
So yeah, so favorite your favorite shot. So just take the habit to favorite your shots, and this way also you can jump back into an image or into a campaign very quickly. Okay. You have also the gallery access, which is the same as the gallery here on the left, essentially. But we'll get to that later. So then you have the action queue. So this is related to the feedback tab. And again, the feedback tab is here. Okay, so this is just the home page is kind of like a summary of the
Mhm.
different tabs on the left. Okay. And so essentially, this shows the latest feedback you received from clients. Okay, so then we can open the feedback. It gets to this tab, the feedback page, which I'll get to in a second. Then you have the recently opened campaigns. Okay, so these are the latest campaigns you've been working on, which you can see right here. And then you have a list of brands, okay, which are right here. So now if we go to the second tab here, these are the brands, okay? So these are your brands, and every time it will show, I think the first image here is usually a favorite, if I'm not mistaken, in the brand. You have two views, you have the grid view and the list view. The list view is just a bigger view for brands, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's just one brand per row. When you do the grid view, it's
Three to
it's
four.
three brands, four
Oh.
brands per row, right? So it's just a bit bigger. Like if you have less brands, you can use the list view. It's probably gonna be easier to work with. And like the top image you'll see here, usually this image here will be one of your favorites as well. So it's not only the most recent visuals you'll see as thumbnails, but your favorite. So again, is to outline the point of favoriting your images. By default, the order of the brand is by the latest. Okay. So it means it's the latest brands you have used, okay, which will come in this order. If you click here on sort AZ in the top right, it will sort the brand by alphabetical order, okay, which
Mm-hmm.
is just another view. Then in the brand, if you click on gallery, you can jump on the gallery page for this brand. If you click on campaign here, you can create a new campaign for this brand. And then if you click on the three dots here, you have edit and delete. So these are all being moved. So by the time you watch this video, this probably won't be here as we're still updating the V2. But basically you have edit brand and delete brand. This will be the main two actions. The other items are being moved somewhere else, which I will show in a second. Then if you click on a brand card here, it takes you to the campaigns page for that brand. Okay, so now I'm in the brand which I call generic, and under that brand, I have the different campaigns here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here again, you can open the campaign, and you can also edit campaign and delete campaign. There's a favorite button here, which should move the campaign to the top, but I don't think oh yeah, I did activate that. Okay, so if you favorite a campaign here, it will move to the top of the sidebar here. Okay,
Yes.
so like for instance, of this client here, if I'm working on the May shots, I can do star campaign and it will come up here. So that's just a way to have quick access to the campaigns you use the most or you need the most right now, which could be handy. And to create a new brand, there is a new brand button up top, and then you have a form here. Next, you have the gallery. So let's go through another brands. So basically, here at the top, you can select the brand, and then you can select the campaigns related to that brand. Okay. You can also choose, so the ratings, this will be removed, so you can ignore that. You can sort by tags. There's no tags in this campaign. By feedback, newest, oldest, and also favorites, like we saw before. So you can, like usually the workflow I would do myself is I'll usually work on a campaign, create like 10, 20, 30 images. I favorite the best ones, and then I'll come to the gallery here to inspect and kind of have my favorites here. And from the gallery, you can select visuals and you can share them essentially. And when you share, um, how can I explain that? So when you share, it will create. You have the option to add a message, which will go at the top of your share page. So when you share is when you share with a client essentially to get feedback. Okay, so let's say like these are the new designs for me, or you can put nothing. I usually put nothing here. Allow feedback, apply watermark. So if you allow feedback, it means people can leave you feedback. And if you apply watermark, it means your watermark. So your logo will show on top of the image, essentially.
Mhm.
Um, I'll show you with a brand that's already. I have a share page already. So
And then you can send them a link, and they can. Or
exactly.
mhm. Do you usually use the watermark?
I never use a watermark. No,
No.
I know some people like to have it. Sorry, but my internet is very
They,
slow with this.
can they
With this
download it
thing.
then right away from there, or can they just have a look at it if you share it?
Yeah, they can download it. Yeah, they can download it. They can access it. They can even resize it. Uh, um, so they have full access to it essentially. But I don't usually watermark because yeah, I don't have trust issues with the people I work with in generally. Like I think most people are honest. Like you would watermark if you think that your clients are gonna steal the images from you or are not gonna pay you essentially.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a trust issue. So so yeah, me, I assume most people are honest, so I don't do that. But if you assume your client might steal your designs and never pay you, then you can use the watermark. Okay, so I'm not able to load this page for some reason. My internet is just cooked now. Let me try to load a smaller campaign. Hmm, okay, I'll try to. Wait a second. Yeah, I can't open this for some reason, so I will try to make it load in another window and come back to it when it's loaded.
Yes.
Or I wonder if I can show you through. I don't know where. I'm trying in V1, but it's not loading as well. I think I don't have enough bandwidth. All right, so yeah, so we'll get to it later because I wanted to show you the sharing page, how they look and how they behave as well, because essentially now it works by rounds, so you can send the same link 3 times to a client, but each time can be a different revision round, because with a client, usually, let's say they want like 10 images, you'll send them the 10 images, and then there will be like 3 or 4 of them that they don't like, you need to redo. So you
Mhm.
send them then the other 3 or 4 images, and then there might be 2 images they don't like, you need to redo, so then you send them the other 2, right? So
Mhm.
instead of at the beginning you had to send them 3 links, um, you had to send them 3 different links. Now you can send just one link, which has the 3 revision rounds as tabs in the link,
Yeah,
so that the clients can go through. So it's just a
that's good.
little,
So you just have
sort
to
of
give them a notice that the revisions are ready, and then they can have a look at it.
exactly, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to load it in a second window. So here you have feedback, you have concepts, and which are the main two like type of feedback we get essentially. So the feedback is essentially when you share. Let me see if I can open the page from here. I can probably can. Yeah. So let's open the share page. Okay. So essentially, like, let's say you send the client these 2 shots. So you go through the gallery, you create a share link, and this is what the share page will look like for the client. So first, they will be asked to enter their email, and then essentially they will be able to. So you see, this is round one, okay, and now they can say, okay, I want to select this image. It needs some changes, or I don't want it. All right. So this is where the feedback tab comes into action. So if we go back here, so essentially here you will have all the feedback that the clients has left. So let's see one where there is some actual feedback here.
Why do
Okay,
they have to
so
leave their email? Is at first,
they have to leave their email so that we know who left the feedback, essentially.
but is it
Yeah,
not the
that,
one that we sent the images to? Why? I,
yeah. So sometimes what I found is that in companies, sometimes there are different people involved.
ah,
So you might have a designer, then you might have the CEO that gets in there. So
yes,
by having the emails every time, then we can make sure that we know who left the feedback, essentially.
we get in direct contact with the right
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Um, but we could just take the name as well. So it's something to see. Yeah. It's not definite, but yeah, right now, I noticed that sometimes we had multiple people leaving feedbacks. That's why I
Hmm.
had this kind of feature. So, right. So this is the feedback page. So again, it's not loading. Yeah, I think of this live live thing, I just can't share. I just can't load anything. My connection is slow as well. But essentially, here it will show like all these images, and next to it I can see the client feedback, essentially. So if they selected the design, if they say it needs changes, I can see it all from here. Okay.
Hmm.
And so the interest of the feedback page is that it's a loop. So essentially, like, I create the design, I send it to the client, they leave some comments on each image, um, and then if I click go to campaign here, if it loads, and then if I click on the feedback tab, now I can see the same feedback that we had on the dashboard is right here,
Hmm.
okay, with all the images here, which are not loading now for some reason. But essentially, what I can do is if I click on the reply here, so like here, the client is saying there is something I don't like with this image. Maybe the grass is too green, right? So if I click right here on the reply, it will paste it in the chat for our agent, which is called Awa. The client gave this feedback. There is something that I don't like. Maybe the grass is too green. Please revise this image based on the client feedback. Okay, and then I press send. Right. So from the client feedback to design, it's direct, right? There's no, you don't need to copy and paste. You don't need to open your email and find the image and re-upload the image and all that thing. It's just a single click from the feedback tab right to design to do the revision based on the client feedback. And that's why we have this workflow where we ask the client to rate each image. I mean, to take a decision on each image and to
Yeah.
give comment on each image, because now, well, first we know what they want, and second we can tell the AI what they want, so it makes our work even faster. The revision
Wow.
work becomes much more easier this way. Like
This
in
is
the prior design version, the feedback was not integrated to the chat, so it was more like copy and paste, and it was more difficult. But this version is more streamlined in that way.
this is excellent. And
Yeah.
it's right away connected to the correct picture or the image, and
Yeah,
you don't even have to search it. This is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it makes the revision much more easier,
And
and
and then most of the times you don't have to give much explanation, or if from what the client is saying, or you can just tell a command to either do this and
yeah, most of the time, like that's why it's important you tell the client, like, be very, don't hesitate to give me good feedback,
yes.
because like with this client I work with, because they give good feedback most of the time, I don't have much to do. Well, it just saves me a lot of time. So maybe it's one shot, maybe it's two shots, but it's just much more easier this way.
And then Ava knows very good what has to be changed.
Yeah, because it will be in the context of a campaign. So usually it will recall, like Eva recalls up to 20 messages back. So it will recall like what this image was about. And then the client, usually the client feedback is very precise. It's gonna be like, it's not gonna be redo the whole thing and start over, right? It's just gonna be like change this and change that, right? So for AI, it's perfect when you have this kind of detailed feedback.
Do you have to add anything then in the command, or is it enough like that most of the times?
Um, like for me, I don't have anything, yeah, because I think it's pretty clear, and like the AI that we use at design is trained on being a creative director for photography. I already have all my instructions, campaign instructions, all the context. So personally, I don't have anything. I'll just do the reply, and I'll just paste it and wait for the result. Yeah.
Well, then it's very
Yeah.
fast to do the to do a revision.
Yeah. So the revision, they are very fast. Yeah. Yeah. Revision is really it's the smallest job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless the client rejects everything you did, but we try to avoid that by doing a concept first. Okay. So let me see if I can view this here. It opens in a new tab. So the concepts,
Did you switch to another tab?
Yeah, switch to another tab, but I'm
Is
trying
it
to
it does
speed it.
the because
Yeah,
you shared only this tab?
yeah, I need to share the full screen, I think, of
Yeah.
this. I need to share the full screen, so let me share. Because I need to go incognito for this, so. Okay. Okay, so concepts. So again, the concepts works similarly. So let me show you first how you create them. So essentially from here, we will do a create concept review. I will choose a brand, any brand. And then essentially I would give the round a name. So let's say it's May concepts or whatever, or like it could be samples. I'm sending samples. Um, and so here, essentially, I will write the
Oh,
concepts I want to do.
that when we lost
You lost the
the
screen share?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because something just flashed for a second. I was wondering what happened. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, it's there again.
Okay, so from the feedback page, essentially, you go here, create concept review. And in the concept, essentially, you choose a brand, you choose a name for the round. So it can be like May concept, it can be like sample concept, and then um, I will create some concepts, right? So a concept is just like 5 words that explain what you want to create for the client, and that you send on the first of the month or beginning of the month if you have a monthly billing cycle, to say, these are the ideals I have that we want to create for you. Um, Please essentially approve them before I go ahead, right? So this way, there is no surprise at the end of the month. Because sometimes, let's say you have ideals and you create some visuals, and then the client says it doesn't like any of the concepts,
Hmm.
then you're wasting a lot of time, essentially. So to avoid this, we get the client to approve the concept very early in the process, so that then we have a much higher approval rate when it comes to sending the final images. So a concept is like 5 words, 3, 4 words about what this shot is going to be about. So for instance, it could be, let's say this is for Nike. So it could be a runner running with Nike shoes close up. That could be a concept. And then I can upload some images or ingredients and attach it to the concept. Okay. So then I'll do some more. So depending how many images I've agreed to create for the client, and essentially then I'll create the link, and this is what the link will look like for the client. Okay. So here it says align on concepts before production, review each concept and mark whether it should move forward, need changes, or should be replaced. And now the client can see the concept. Okay. So, like, the concept is this model wearing this product in this location. And then the client can select, say, needs tweak or can pass it. Right.
Hmm.
So this is just to get the client buy-in, so the client participate in the process from the beginning, so that we don't have surprises at the end of the month that they don't like the concepts. So this is just from experience, essentially, that I built this feature. Yeah.
But this is only if the client wants us to come up with concepts. If they
Yeah,
have their
with
own concept and they want you just to
if they
fulfill,
if they have their own concepts, obviously you don't need to do that part. Um, but in most cases, they don't. Like in my experience, they might have some ideas that they can discuss with you or share with you, but it's not their jobs, and it's essentially your job. It's why people would pay you is to think about these things, right? And come up with concepts, and I think it's part of the value if you can include it.
yeah.
it,
So
it
we have to
it's
be, yeah, very creative in that
Yeah,
moment.
so it forces you to be a bit creative, like. But with the concepts, personally, I don't spend that much time. Probably I try to spend about 30 minutes on concept per month.
And
So for one
where do you,
client, for
yeah,
10 images.
where do you
Um,
get the ideas from?
the
It's
ideas depend on the brand identity of the client, essentially. So what is his brand about? What location, the models, the products. So I'll get into it once we do more workflow training. Essentially, it's the workflow, right? So kind of based on what they want, the idea they give me, then I can search for maybe a couple more location. I can come up with a couple more models, ID, like people that I can use, and then research on Pinterest or online ideas of concepts I could use. But again, when I do concept, I try to set myself 30 minutes and just do it fast, because it's not something I think you want to dwell for too long. Um, but it still needs to be done, right?
we lost the
Um,
screen sharing again.
oh, without the screen sharing again? Oh, I think I should use. I don't know if I can connect Google Meet here, because this software is not really reliable for this. Um, okay, so yeah, so I was saying this is the concept part. Again, it depends on your workflow, who you work with. Like you say, some clients might already have a very clear idea of what they want. Most won't, and to me it's part of the creative work. It's something you can do as well yourself. So next we have the opportunities tab. So this is a tab essentially that will show um, live opportunities which are available on Upwork. Okay. So this is not the latest version for some reason. Let me see if I have the latest version here. So yeah, so these are jobs which are available on Upwork. It will be updated daily. Yeah, let me
Right.
let me show you the because this
Does
is
it,
the. uh
how many, does it update one time a day? Or
Yeah, so I think by the time I'm done with it, it will be 2 times a day at least. Like right now, it's 1 time a day. It's every 24 hours, but I will push it down to 2 times a day because otherwise you're missing some posts
and then
if you have to
what
wait.
time basically in the,
It will be around 8 p.m. Central European time, so our time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, and 12 hours earlier, which will be 8 a.m.
yeah,
Central European time and 2 a.m. Eastern.
okay.
So 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. essentially. That will be the schedule. Um, so essentially here, what you'll be able is to set a target. set a daily target. So let's say you want to do 3 application a day, 5 a day, or 10 a day. Okay. So this is useful so that you can get into the volume essentially, which is important for Upwork application. Is you need volume, and so as you apply to jobs, so let's say I see this job here, I open it, and then let's say I apply to it. I'll see this question here: Did you apply? Yes or no? And if I type yes, it will be added here. Okay, so 1 of 5 applied today. So this gives me a visual way to track my application. So now I'm in the applied screen here. If I go back to open opportunities, I can look for the other opportunities here. If I click on applied here, if I got a job, I can click on got the job and it will add me to one. So I can go back after some time. Once I get a job, I can click on here, it will add it to one. And
Hmm.
here, these are the jobs where I skipped. Okay, so if I open a job and then I say, no, I didn't apply to it, it will go to the skipped section. Okay.
So
Um,
then it doesn't show again if you have no interest.
Yeah, for basically it gives us feedback. It gives me feedback as the platform owner. Um, let's see that one job has been rejected by 10 people, right? So then I know this type of job is probably not right. Okay, and I can look into it. So the stats is useful for you, because then the platform can adapt to you and can recommend better jobs for you. But it's also useful for me as the platform owner to see what works and what doesn't, essentially. Um, if you don't want the stats, if you have stats anxiety and you don't want that kind of pressure in your life, you can also hide them. Okay, so essentially you can hide the stats right here. Okay, and I'll have a way to hide the target as well.
Oh, it's stopped again, the screen sharing.
Let me resume it. I wonder why. Let me try to just select a tab, maybe. I think that was more stable. Because maybe I have another screen sharing software somewhere. Um, so yeah, and essentially here, if you click on the eye here, it's it's not necessarily important for you, but just to tell you, it's the summary analysis of why our AI pick this job, essentially, and it's showing it to you. Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it could be useful to understand why we choose certain jobs. And yeah, that's it. So I'm working on adding more volume and more relevant jobs here. So probably by next couple of days you'll see a lot more jobs, a lot more often, twice a day, and better match. And essentially, yeah, you'll be able to come any day of the week and apply. Okay.
So, and as of now, there will be enough jobs for everybody, I guess. Since we,
Yeah.
I mean, if there would be thousands of people looking at the
Yeah,
same thing
thousands
and
of
all
people
applying to it, then
could
it would be not
could
so
be
good.
a yeah, could be an issue. But if there's thousands of people, hopefully by then there is thousands of jobs as well. But yeah, for now there's just way too much for most people, because even if
Yes.
even if 10 people are aware of this opportunity, it's very unlikely that 10 people are going to be applying every day. Like some people, like out of 10 people, maybe one or two will be applying every day, because life comes in the way and you don't have time to apply or you don't make it a priority. And so yeah, before we reach saturation is a very
So,
long time.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
and then even if you apply every day, then there's the weekends. This never stops. It never stops. It's a
Mm.
constant flow of
And
people looking for AI photography services.
and if we get some jobs that take our time, then we can't even apply to new ones. If you're busy fulfilling old jobs already.
Yeah, exactly. And once you get some jobs, then you stop applying a bit, So then you're not applying for 5 days, 10 days. So then other people. So yeah, it's very hard for this to get saturated. That's the bottom line. Very hard. There's just so much volume. It's very hard, you know. And we also have our other outreach method here via the outreach tab. Um, which again is being finalized. You'll probably be finalized within the next 3 4 days. I'm still working a bit on the UI because it's a bit confusing. It's not so clear right now. Um, I think last week we talked about it already. So essentially, there is two steps. First, there is the discovery, which is where the AI will go and analyze you. Basically, you upload your list of leads, like 10, 100, 200, 1,000 leads. And then the AI will go and look at each website, find the best product on the website, the best selling or the most popular or the one that is featured. And then essentially it will create a profile of the brand, the style, their ICP, and so on. And the second step is to generate the visuals. Okay. And when it generates the visuals, then you get to a review phase where essentially you'll be able to review um, the visual it has created, essentially, and choose which one you want to keep. Um, Once you do that, you'll export the visuals and then you can import to Instantly or any email automation outreach software, so that you can send 100 emails at once with custom visuals for each client. Okay, so that's the outreach for email outreach. Much more complex product, a much more complex workflow, but this is where you create your own opportunities essentially by reaching out to people who might not be fully aware of what AI is capable of, and where you can do it at scale. Because before we had to create all these visuals for each brand one by one. Now you can upload, like I uploaded this batch of 132 leads, and it just created all the visuals for me. So now I just need to review the output and keep the one I want to keep. So then, I can send that. So it's just making the process much faster.
You always want to send only one, or why you don't want to send two of
Yeah,
them?
so I'll just keep it to one. Yeah. It's mainly from a cost perspective, right? Because when this is 100 leads, so it's not that much. But let's say you're doing like 100, 300 leads a week or 1,000 leads a week, then if you generate like 10 images, it just becomes very, very costly at that scale. So we'll just focus on one image, which is enough to spark a conversation.
But if we have already created already two images, right? Why you couldn't use the two of them to send it? Right? Or it already took the credits or not to create it?
Yeah, because it will look it's also a formatting issue. Like sending two images in an email is a bit, it will look strange, right? Like usually a good number is one or four, because four you can make a grid that is a square, right? But two, then you're looking at what, a banner. Yes, one is fine. Like we don't really need more. There's not more value by adding more, I think. So yeah, that's the idea. Um, so yeah, so this should go much faster. I'm still working on the prompt because I'm not 100% happy with the realism here. So yeah, but that's the idea essentially, for the outreach. So this way you can reach out at scale and, essentially, like, yeah, send 300, 1,000 emails per week on autopilot with just, probably like 30 minutes of setup. You can get done, and then yeah, then scale it. So that's the last module. So now, let's go into the actual editor here. Okay, so, in the editor, there's a few different things. Let me find a campaign which has a bit more images. With this one. Yeah. Okay. So now you have, a different interface from the old one, if you recall. The main difference is that there is more space for the visual on the right. Okay, so
Mhm.
that space has been increased so that, the focus is more on the image, because this is what we do. We sell AI photography, essentially. So I'll try to make it a bit more prominent. Okay. So this means that some of these icons became very small. This might change with time. I might make them a bit slightly bigger as we go. But essentially, now you have the canvas on the right, and on the left, you have the chat. Now, the chat and the canvas can be, resized by dragging, this bar here if you want a smaller or a bigger chat. So, like, if you're having a lot of text you need to read through, obviously, just make sure to make it bigger. Now, when it, generates images, it, generates them as a stack. And as you can see, there is this +4 here.
Mhm.
So when you click on the +4, it shows the additional frames here. Okay. All the frames are also visible at the bottom, of the screen here. You can use the keyboard to navigate, left arrow and right arrow. So here I'm not using my mouse, I'm using the keyboard. If you press enter, you will enter comparison mode. So let me find an image that has comparison mode enabled here. Okay, so let's say I'm on this image. If I press enter, I'll go to comparison mode. If I press enter again, I'll go to the side by side. So on the right is the original image, which I uploaded. On the left is the generated image. This was for a LinkedIn portfolio, right? A LinkedIn profile.
Mhm.
Um, if I press escape, I go back here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the keyboard is also, it's more like a power user thing. But if and when you get to the stage where you become a power user, then you can use the keyboard, kind of building, shortcuts into the keyboard. Um, on the chat, let me see where we start. Let's start on the top left. So we have the notes here. So for the notes, these are, campaign level notes. So they're not at the level of the brand, but the level of the campaign. So let's say I'm doing a campaign where I'm doing some samples for a client, or I just got my first job on Upwork, and the gig is for 5 deliverables, right? So what I like to do with this is essentially, write down my deliverables and any campaign notes. Okay. So let's say I want to do, 5 shots, and they want a wide shot, they want a close up, they want a portrait, and they want, a detail shot, right? So I'll just write this down. I can write down my notes, like, I'm thinking, a woman, wearing the product, maybe a man this time, maybe a couple for the portrait, right? So I'll just use the notes to kind of think aloud. You don't have to use it, but it can be useful. It's just an optional feature to kind of get your thoughts together when you're working on a campaign, or to save information about the campaign as you go. The feedback tab we already saw before. It's tied to the feedback in the dashboard. Here in the composer, we have you have the plus here. So with the plus, you can add ingredients, which will open the ingredients tab here. Okay. Um, if you can choose the number of concepts and variations. So like if I say, if I want a woman wearing a t-shirt, okay? So the first concept could be on the beach. The second concept could be on a roof. And the third concept could be on Mars, right? It doesn't have to be do with the location. It could have to do with the action or with the subject. But essentially, this is what a concept is, right? If I just say to the AI, create an image of a woman wearing a t-shirt on the beach, it will just do this single concept, right?
Mhm.
But then if I go here and I do three concepts, let's give it a try. Let's send it actually. Okay, so concept one is golden hour, concept two is editorial, and concept three is lifestyle UGC. So then here we have the quick answers, which are highlighted as like boxes at the bottom. So if I click on them, it adds them to the chat. So this is a good way to carry on the conversation. So this is the concept essentially. And the variations are if I want to generate the same image twice. Now, in most cases, this is not really useful, but when you have products which are hard to get them accurate, like if you're doing jewelry, for instance, or if you're doing very fine products, then you might need several variations to be able to get the right detail, because each variation has slightly different details. Okay, is the AI sending the same prompt to the same model, but it will be slightly varied, right? So variation can be useful this way. Okay. Um, so still in the chat, we have the loop. So the loop is it's an experimental feature. It basically means that it will keep going until it gets the results that you're after, essentially. So this is good when you really know what you want, you're sure of what you want, you have a very clear creative direction, and let's say you want to you're trying to portray some jewelry, or again some really fine products that's very hard to do with AI. And instead of having to regenerate every time and asking, can you change this? Can you make sure the jewelry looks right? Essentially, here, it will auto evaluate its work, and it will keep going until it gets to a satisfying result, right? So it's experimental, but this is essentially the future of AI photography, where we will do less and less, and we'll have the AI essentially self evaluate their work
Mhm.
before giving it to us. You have the vision, which is off by default.
Can I ask
The,
a question?
yeah,
Why
sure.
shouldn't it this step happen already in the AI itself, in the model, that it self um, um, approves its work and redoes it? Is it not already in the system by itself?
No, yeah, it's an option, but it's not in the system. It's
You
a
see,
it's a it's a toggle, so it's an option you need to select.
no, no, I
Um,
mean the model like Midjourney. If you tell
oh
it
no, no,
prompt,
they they
should
they don't they don't have that.
re-evaluate itself
Mm.
if the work
No,
is correct or
no,
not.
they don't really have self-evaluation. Like some of them are starting to do this, like the latest nano banana models are starting to do this. And it will probably the model will do more of it, but but they can't have it because the risk when you have a loop is essentially you increase the cost, right? So like the model providers, they try to keep the cost very low,
Mhm.
so that it's accessible to people. Because when you do a loop, you go from an image costing you, let's say, 10 cents to an image costing you $1 or $2 or $5 if it has to keep retrying until it reached the perfect results, right?
Mhm.
So now it's very limited. The models, the API providers will only give very limited analysis, via their APIs essentially.
Yeah, okay.
But eventually it will get there. It's obvious, and this is one such feature that is starting up in design. But again, it increased the cost and it increased the time so much that it's a trade-off that is not so reliable right now. So that's why it's not the default, right? um, the vision is the ability for the AI to see the image it generates. So by default, it's off because it also adds more time, because it means that when the images are generated, then the AI will actually take the time to look at them, essentially, and to analyze and to give you feedback on the visuals. So for now, I found that it's not necessary to have it on. Again, if you have very complex products, then it could be good to have it on, but by default, it's off.
And what does the system do then? If it looks at it, does it tell you something is off or?
Yeah, yeah. So then it can analyze the vision. Now the problem with vision now, so these models are getting very good. This is using Opus 4.7 to be precise, as it's an anthropic model. Um, but the problem up to now is the vision model were not good enough. So they are viewing things, but like in a blurry way, right? It's like they view half the image, right? So then the feedback they give you is not so good because they can't view clearly. It's like if you ask someone that is partially blind to review your visual and tell you if it's good work or not, right?
Mhm.
In order for it to be valuable, the AI should be able to view the image as well as a human.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's not really there yet. So the option is there. The technology, we're probably like 6 months away from the AI having better vision than humans. So soon it will be amazing. Now it's okay. It's viewing well, but it's not totally there. Then you have the aspect ratio here, which is to change the format of the image. And then you have the resolution. So 1K, 2K, 4K. By default for client work, I do at least 2K or 4K. I never do 1K, very rarely. So that's my advice.
And when do you do 4K?
And
And
4K would be if the input image is at least 2K, So if I upload like a t-shirt that is like at least 2000 times 2000, or that has like 2000 on one of the length, 2000 pixels, then I'll do 4K. Okay. Or I do 4K when I want the best results, because the resolution doesn't only increase the size of the image, but it also increased the performance of the model and the quality of the results. So again, for difficult products, fine details, if you have writings, for instance, on a product, I need the writing to show correctly, you want to use 4K. Like basically you start with 2K, and if the results are not good enough with 2K, you go to 4K, because then you'll get much better. The quality improve, not only the resolution, but the actual output quality improve. So,
Mhm.
like on some of the finer products I work with, I'm always in 4K, but minimum would be 2K. And it looks better. 2K is just sharper. Then you have the model. The default one is Nano Banana. Then we have Nano Banana 2, which is the one I would use for most client work. For 99% of client work, I use Nano Banana. For
And
the
the
sim-
last one, the GPT
yeah,
image.
GPT Image 2 is the one by ChatGPT, which is much more expensive. It costs 10 credits, so
Wow.
it's like more than two times as Nano Banana 2. And the
Okay.
problem is that the resolution is fixed to 1K.
And
So
why is it so more expensive than a banana?
it's just a
And
provider. I don't know what they set these prices, but
and
it's just the
do do
prices that they set.
do you use it at all?
No, personally, I don't use it at all. I use Nano Banana 2 for the simple reason that GPT Image 2, the only resolution available is 1K. And
Uh,
one
yeah.
k is it gets blurry very fast. Like 1K is if you do 1K, if you zoom in, I think this is 1K. Okay, so you can see if you zoom in, it's already a bit blurry, it's a bit imprecise, it's a bit washed off, it's not very sharp, right? Um,
And and why do you provide it at all then if it's not worth it
be-
to use it?
because for some clients, like let's say what you're doing doesn't require much details, but require like a different style or better realism, it's probably a good model. So it's an option, but it's probably a good model, like if you don't require a lot of details. But like
But
for
then
most
it's
of the work I do, I require more details. um
but even if it's more expensive and with less details, why should we use it? We don't even have to bother with it.
Sorry.
If it has less
Eh, eh,
details
eh,
and it
it's
is
just
more
it's
expensive, we shouldn't even bother with it.
yeah, no, it's a different style. Like if you are it's a different style. It's like if you compare, oh, what you compare it to. It's like if you compare taking a picture with an iPhone and taking a picture with a Samsung, right? Samsung phone. You take the same pictures, right? They are gonna be different.
Mm.
There are gonna be a slight difference. Maybe Samsung will have more filters. Maybe iPhone will have different filters. They use different AI, both of these phones. So then you'll get a different feel. It'll be the same picture, the same person you're taking a picture, but it'll be a different feeling, right? So, when you get to the level where you see the difference between iPhone and Samsung, then it's good to have the options. And because in this field we try to be like professionals in this field, It's just good that we have access to the latest, the best models. Like I want to have at least iPhone and Samsung. Like I don't want to just have iPhone. It's which is good. It's going to do 99% of the work, but I still have to want to have this creative option because both models have a different creative approach.
Hmm. Okay.
If Midjourney had an open API which we could access, I would probably include it here. So I would include it here so we could have Midjourney as well, which is again a different feel, a bit more creative.
Hmm.
Um, so next we have the ingredients tab. So here you can upload an ingredient, you can paste an image, you can also draw an ingredient, which is the top right here. Okay. So this can be useful in some cases where you kind of know what you want and you have some drawing skills, so you can say it helps especially with composition. So I can say like I want a man holding a bowl, and here, how I'm gonna do that. Here I want a net for basketball. Okay. And so this way I can guide the AI to this type of composition, which is pretty precise. Okay. I can pair that with a real image as ingredient, and I can say, based on this drawing, create a real image for me. And essentially, when I save the drawing, it appears here. If I click on the eye for info, it opens the info for the ingredients. So let me go back. Okay, so this came through. So you see, this is GPT
Hmm.
image one. So it's a different feel, right? This was Nano Banana one. This is GPT image one, and I'll run another one for Nano Banana 2 so you can see the differences. So very different. Some people prefer it. Um, it's pretty good. It's state of the art.
Yeah, the second one looked a little bit more artificial, but the first and the third one, that one
This
looked,
one,
this one looks more
yeah, more
artificial.
fake.
The first and the third one are very, very
Yeah,
good, like very natural. Uh,
yeah, yeah. So you see, this could be a good model, but again, yeah, the only problem is the level of details, which is too low. Like you can see here, as soon as you zoom in, it's very blurry. Okay, so then you can upscale this, of course. So now if you click on the info here, you can upscale to 4K,
mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure how to explain. But basically, upscaling is not as good as getting the details the first shot, right?
Yes.
Um, so this is the same shot with Nano Banana. So yeah, a very different feeling. This was GPT image.
Well, the GBT image came very good compared.
Yeah, yeah. That's why it's
Uh,
the
yeah.
That's maybe why it's so expensive. It does a good job. I can't. There's no denying it. It does a very good job. Okay, so then in the ingredients tab, like I was saying, you can upload ingredients. Can you still see my screen now?
Yes. Yes, I can.
So now, if you upload multiple ingredients, so I selected 4 images from my computer. So now I have a batch review option. Okay, this is one of the new feature in this release, which means that like it's important that your files are named correctly, because when you have 2 ingredients, it's okay if they are if the name is XYZ. But when you have 50 ingredients and you come back after 2 months of not working for a client, then it's very important to have good organization. So I always recommend to name the files properly. So this could be like a woman with white linen shirt, okay? And the tag could be model, okay? Second one could be woman playing with baby, and the tag could be toys, right? So you want to give tags based on your brands. So the batch review, before you had to edit them all manually. So now they come in this size of the screen as a batch review process. You can also AI analyze if you click here. And what it will do, it will essentially rewrite the titles and the tags automatically for you. Okay, so now you see woman portrait outdoor, mother and child playing, pet care product, skincare product collection, and it's adding tags for me so that I can review. So this is very useful if you need to upload like 20 images. It just be much more faster for you to name them the right way. And again, it's important to name things right. Okay. You can also add a tag to all at once by typing here, and it will tag them all with the same tag. So this is
Mhm.
the batch upload feature, which is very useful. You also have a batch edit feature. If you click on select here and you select multiple, if you click on edit, you can batch edit them as well. Okay. You also have regular edit. If you go on info, now I can edit one by one, which was how it used to work. Okay.
Mhm.
You can also import products by pasting an image URL, and here you can search ingredients by name as well. Okay. When you go into the info here, ingredient info, you have the option to go to product prep. So you click on open prep here, and this opens the preparation screen. So in the preparation screen is where we can remove noise from images before we use them in AI. Okay, like usually, this is not a good example here, but let me see if I have a good one here. Hmm. Okay, so let's say this was my product here. Open prep. Let's say this is my product here on the left. So if I upload this image to the AI and say, create an image of my bottle on a table, it will have to deal with all the noise in the background, the dog, the brush, and all that thing. So usually we prepare products. So what I can do here is I can crop it, for instance. So I only have this product. Um, I can also resize it. So now the size is 219 times 437. That's okay. I can also remove the background. This is the third one here. So I could say remove the background from this image, keep only the main subject and preserve every detail. Click on remove background, it will go through it. and I can also upscale the image. Okay, so by the end, I can have just the bottle essentially. Okay, once I'm done, I can click on save as new, and it will save this as essentially a new ingredient in my list as a separate ingredient. Okay, so that's product preparation. So again, in the previous version of Dezygn, it used to be hidden on the brand page, but now it's really in line here, part of the workflow. Here, concepts, it's your list of concepts that you have access to them, that you send to the client for this campaign. I don't have any here, but they will show up here. So now I can take these concepts and start applying them. Okay. And to wrap up, we'll finish with the canvas here, the canvas area. So top right, you have a favorite, which is a feature I use a lot. You have compare. So if I go back to an image with a comparison with a source image, it shows me the source image that was used. If I click on it, I can compare the two to make sure I'm not making mistakes. There is the edit button. So when you click here on the little reply, it's essentially an edit. Okay, so I can say, remove our glasses. I have the zoom. When I click on it, it shows the zoom controls here. I have the info, which gives me access to upscale, and it shows me the prompt as well. Here I have the gallery, which show me all the images for this campaign. And then I have the favorites here, which show me the favorite images for this campaign. In the bottom right, I have my credit count. So the number of credit I have in my Dezygn account. And here I have the name of the brand and the name of the campaign and the number of images I've generated in this campaign so far.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing with ingredients. Another way to insert ingredients is if you go in the chat and you press at. When you press at, it will pull the images here. So I can say make the woman, let me close this first. Make the woman from at this image, hold the, what is it, perfume, the bottle from at, is going to be this one, image 2.
Wow.
Okay, so this,
Yeah, very good.
yeah, so this gives me more creative direction, control, because I could attach these two images normally by clicking on them and just say, make the woman hold the bottle. Okay, but when you do the at, it gives the AI the exact image that you want, because maybe in your ingredients you have 3 different women and 3 different bottles, right? So then it's not sure which one do you want to use or which one you want to select. And so that's what the add feature is for more creative control precisely, so the AI knows precisely what you want. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think that covers it. I think we covered the whole UI.
Yeah, that was helpful. Now we have to play around and
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think that covers it. So I will just stop the recording